I never believed in ghosts. I never believed in the supernatural. But everything changed the night. I heard footsteps in my own house, while I was completely alone. My name is Ava Carter. I'm 26, and 3 weeks ago, I moved into a beautiful old house that I inherited from my late aunt. Cheap, silent, private. It felt like the perfect escape from my busy life. But silence can be terrifying when you start to notice the sounds hidden underneath it. Arrival at the new house. It was raining when I first stepped inside. The wooden floors creaked under my shoes. The lights flickered once, as if the house was warning me. I laughed nervously, telling myself it was just an old wiring issue. The hallway smelled faintly of lavender, mixed with something I couldn't identify. A cold scent, almost metallic. First night, I settled into my bedroom, unpacked a few boxes, locked the main door, turned off the lights. The wind brushed against the windows. Thunder murmured in the distance. Everything felt calm, until I heard it. The first footsteps. Thump! My eyes shot open. Thump, thump. Slow, heavy. Someone walking right outside my bedroom door. I held my breath. I listened closely. My mind tried to explain it logically. The house is old. Wood expands at night. It's nothing, just sleep. But... knock, knock. 2 soft taps on my bedroom door. I froze. Someone was in the house. Trying to stay calm, I whispered to myself, "No one is here, no one is here." But the doorknob rattled. Just once. Then silence. That felt louder than the thunder outside. I grabbed my phone with shaking hands. No signal. Of course. I wanted to scream, but fear locked my voice in my throat. The door opens. The doorknob turned slowly. Creak. The door opened. On its own. I stared into the dark hallway, but saw nothing. No figure. No shadow. Just emptiness. And yet, I felt eyes staring back at me. Someone else breathing. A slow, deep exhale. Right behind me. Goosebumps shot down my spine. I turned my head. Inch by inch. No one there. I ran to switch on the lights. They flickered violently, before staying dim and weak. I wasn't alone. I knew it. And the house wanted me to know. The whisper. Just when I tried to run back into the room. A voice. A whisper. Directly in my ear. "You shouldn't have come back." I dropped my phone. My heart stopped for a second. Because that voice was my aunt's. But she's dead. Trying not to lose my mind, my breath was shaking. My heart punched against my ribs like it wanted to break out. I kept staring into the hallway, hoping my brain was playing tricks. But that whisper, that voice, it was hers. It was my aunt's voice. Clear, close, cold. I backed away, never taking my eyes off the open door. No footsteps. No movement. Just the soft hum of the dim light above me. I whispered, "Hello, who's there?" But I regretted it instantly. Because something answered. Not in words, but in a low, soft growl from deep inside the hallway. The photo frame. I grabbed my phone again. Still no signal. Battery low. Perfect. My hands trembled as I turned on the flashlight. The beam shook as I aimed it toward the hallway. That's when I noticed it. A picture frame lying face down on the floor. I didn't remember anything being on the wall there before. Slowly, I walked closer, each step louder than the footsteps I heard earlier. I reached down and picked up the frame. My heart froze. It was a photo of me and my aunt, smiling in front of this house when I was just 12, but the glass was cracked, right across my face. The hallway knows my name. As I stared at the photo, the air behind me shifted. A cold breath touched the back of my neck. And then, Ava. A voice. My name, spoken with slow, painful breath. I didn't turn. I couldn't. My legs finally remembered how to run. I sprinted back into my room and slammed the door shut. The locked door isn't enough. I locked the door, pushed a chair against it, and stared, waiting, listening. The house fell silent again, as if nothing had happened, as if it were mocking me. I sat on the floor, hugging my knees. Tears slid down my cheeks, before I even realized I was crying. "This is grief, just grief," I whispered to myself. "Your aunt's death is messing with your head." But deep down, under the fear, was another feeling. The house wanted me here, just not alive. The hidden door. Hours passed. The sun finally rose. I felt safer in daylight. Foolishly, I forced myself to explore, to prove that the fear was irrational. As I walked through the hallway, my eyes landed on a door. At the end, a door I hadn't noticed before. Peeling white paint. Rusty handle. I swallowed hard and slowly pulled it open. A narrow staircase descended into darkness below. A basement. But I had explored the house before. There was no basement. Something lives down there. The air drifting up felt wrong. Rotten. Sour. Alive somehow. A wet dripping sound echoed below. I whispered, "No, not going down there." The staircase disagreed. Thump, thump. Footsteps. Coming up. I slammed the door shut and stumbled backward. The door shook violently, as if something was trying to burst through. I screamed and ran to the front door. Locked. Deadbolt stuck. Wouldn't move. Like the house itself was holding me captive. The message. I grabbed my keys, threw the door open, and ran outside barefoot, onto the cold, wet grass. I didn't stop running until I reached my car. As I opened the door, I glanced back at the house. The upstairs curtain moved. Someone, or something, was staring out from my bedroom window. I jumped into the car, started the engine, and the radio turned on by itself. A whispering voice, hidden in static. "Don't leave me, Ava!" My blood turned to ice. The house wasn't haunted. It was possessed, and whatever was inside knew my name, knew my past, knew me. A false escape. I drove. Fast. As far away from that house as I could. The windshield wipers slapped wildly against the storm-soaked glass. My hands were shaking on the wheel. I didn't look into the rearview mirror. I was afraid I would see something sitting in the back seat. After 10 minutes of panic driving, I pulled over near a gas station. I sucked in cold air, trying to calm the hurricane inside my chest. This isn't real, I told myself. You imagined everything. But when I looked down, my arm had scratches, 3 deep fingernail marks, and they were fresh. Bleeding. The woman who knew too much. Inside the gas station, I asked the cashier for tissues. He stared at my wounds. But before he could speak, an elderly woman nearby whispered, "You shouldn't stay in that house." I turned sharply. Her eyes, cloudy, frightened, looked like someone who hadn't slept peacefully in years. "What do you mean?" I asked. She came closer, voice trembling. "That house, it takes people. Your aunt, she wasn't the first." My heart stopped. My voice cracked. "What happened to my aunt?" She looked around nervously, before whispering. "She tried to get away too, but the house always calls them back." The call. Before I could ask more, my phone vibrated. Unknown number. Against every instinct, I answered. Static. Then a familiar voice. "Come home, Ava." I dropped the phone, stumbling back in horror. The old woman backed away too. "You hear it now," she said. "Once it chooses you, you're never alone again." Dragged back, I rushed to my car, started the engine, but the steering wheel jerked sharply to the left, like invisible hands were gripping it. "No, no!" The car accelerated, on its own. I tried to brake, pressed as hard as I could. Nothing. The road blurred past. Trees, streetlights, rain, and slowly, the car turned by itself, back toward the house. The returning. The house stood ahead, like a hungry beast, waiting for its prey to return. My body shook violently. I was crying and screaming. "Please let me go!" The car ignored me and rolled into the driveway and stopped. Engine off. Locks clicked shut. I was trapped again. The basement calls. The front door. Opened by itself. A wind, cold like a morgue, pushed me forward. Inside, the house smelled of damp wood and something rotten beneath it. The door at the end of the hallway, the basement door, I tried to forget, was wide open. Stairs leading into a darkness, so thick it swallowed light. And then, a sound. Not footsteps this time, but breathing. Slow. Deep. Animal-like. The warning returned. As I stepped closer, the air grew colder. My breath fogged. On the wall beside the basement door, words appeared, as if carved by invisible claws. "Don't go down." My aunt's handwriting. I touched the wall. The letters were still warm. A tear slid down my cheek. "Aunt, what happened to you?" The thing below. Something shifted in the darkness below. A wet dragging sound. Claws scraping wood. Then, a whisper, but deeper this time. Not her aunt's voice. "Come closer, Ava." That voice was not human. The stairs groaned as something heavy started climbing up. Step by step by step. I froze. My aunt wanted me to run, but something else wanted me below. And the house wanted me to choose. The stairs creak. The sound kept rising. One step at a time, Whatever was in that basement, it was no longer hiding. Every instinct screamed run, but my legs refused to move. Fear pinned me in place like a nail through flesh. I whispered to myself, "This isn't real, it can't be real." But the floorboards beneath my feet had already begun to tremble. The hand, a pale bony hand, reached up from the darkness and gripped the edge of the top stair. The skin looked stretched, too tight over the bones. Blackened nails scratched the wood. I gasped loudly, and the hand froze. It heard me. Another hand appeared beside it. Slowly, horribly, a head lifted into view. Not human, not anymore. Eyes like bottomless holes, jaw unhinged wider than it should be, skin cracked like old leather, barely holding a corpse together. It stared at me and smiled. The chase. That was enough. My legs finally woke up, and I sprinted towards the door. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't breathing. Just running. Away. But the lights exploded. Every single bulb shattering above me. Glass rained down, glinting like sharp tears. The house roared, like walls were alive and angry. Behind me, the thing shrieked. A sound like metal screaming against bone. It launched itself. Up the stairs. I hit the front door. Pulled the handle. Pulled harder. Locked. Of course. Always locked. The house attacks. Something cold wrapped around my ankle. Invisible and strong. I fell hard. My chin slammed into the floor. I clawed at the wood, leaving splinters in my fingers, as I was dragged backward, toward the basement. "No, no, please!" My screams tore my throat raw, but the house ignored mercy. The saving voice, just as I was pulled, over the basement threshold, a thunderous voice yelled, "Let her go!" The grip released me instantly. My body slid to a stop, just before the drop into darkness. I gasped for air, and looked up. A man, mid-30s, rain-soaked, breathing heavily. He aimed a flashlight toward the basement, and the creature hissed, before retreating. The stranger, he pulled me to my feet, his eyes filled with worry. "You must be Ava. I'm Detective Harris." "Detective?" He continued. "I worked on your aunt's case. I knew this would happen." "What?" I cried. "What is happening to me?" He looked at the basement door, voice low with fear. "That thing doesn't want to haunt you. It wants your body." My heart stopped. What happened to my aunt? He swallowed hard. She tried to stop the entity in this house, but she failed. He stepped closer to me, and before she died, she told me one thing. I waited, breath shaking. He looked directly into my eyes. "If the house ever chooses Ava, she belongs to it." The entity speaks. The basement door slammed shut. With a violent bang, the lights flickered on again. Every window rattled. Then, a whisper slithered through every wall. "You can't save her," Detective Harris whispered. "We don't have much time." He grabbed my arm firmly. "You're coming with me." "Leaving isn't leaving." Detective Harris pulled me toward the front door. "We must get you away from this house," he insisted. He unlocked the door. The same lock that refused me earlier. It opened easily for him, like the house was letting him take me to where it wanted. Cold wind hit my face as we stepped outside. I finally felt hope. Briefly. The house fights back. We rushed toward his car, but the driveway lights suddenly shut off. The entire street, swallowed by darkness. No light, no sound, not even the rain anymore. "Ava, don't look back," the detective said. But I did, and the house had changed. Windows like dark eyes, roof like a gaping jaw, breathing, slow, hateful breaths that fogged the glass from inside. A voice crawled through the air. "You belong to me." I clutched Harris's arm, terrified. He whispered, "I know." The diary. Inside his car, he handed me something. A small leather book, old and burned along the edges. "This was your aunt's," he said. "It holds everything she never told you." I opened it with shaking hands. Her handwriting, frantic, uneven. "The house is alive. It feeds on the women in our bloodline. It tried to take me. If Ava ever returns here, she will be the next host." Host. Not victim. Host. My aunt's warning. Another page. I hear footsteps every night. It already knows Ava's name. It whispers to me in her voice. It wants her soul. It will use her body. I dropped the diary, heart exploding with panic. "You knew about this," I cried to Harris. "You knew before I moved in." He nodded slowly, guilt in his eyes. "We tried to burn the house," he admitted. "But the fire only made it stronger." The brand. Suddenly, a burning pain tore across my stomach. I screamed. Harris grabbed my shoulders. What's happening? I lifted my shirt. A symbol was carved into my skin. Fresh, bleeding, as if invisible knives were writing on me. A twisted shape. A circle with black veins like roots. Harris' face turned pale. It's marking you. Claiming you. My tears came hot and fast. Can you stop it? His silence told me the truth. The house calls. The car engine died. Every electronic device shut down. The night air vibrated, with a deep humming, like the earth itself was growling. I looked up. The house door was open again. A soft light flickered inside, and I saw a silhouette. A woman. My aunt. She raised her arm and beckoned me home. The possession begins. My vision blurred. My heartbeat slowed, like something else was trying to control it. Voices flooded my mind. Come back. You belong here. Your body is ours. I clutched my head, screaming, Get out of me! Harris grabbed my face. Ava, listen to me. They're trying to break your mind. Fight it! But the house had a final message, carved into the fogged windshield, right in front of us. Welcome home, Ava. And then, every door of the car unlocked and swung open, like a command. The house was demanding my return, and my body was starting to obey. Losing control. I tried to stand, but my legs felt like they weren't mine anymore. My muscles locked. My vision pulsed with darkness. Something inside me was waking up. Ava, stay with me, Harris urged, grabbing my shaking hands. But I didn't feel them. I didn't feel me. A cold voice slithered into my mind. Stop resisting. You were born for us. Forced return. My body turned toward the house, without my permission. Each step forward felt like someone else was puppeteering my bones. Harris pulled me back, but an invisible force threw him across the yard. He crashed into the grass and choked for air. Ava, he coughed, scrambling to his feet. But I had already reached the open door. The threshold. The mouth of the beast. The house reacts. The door slammed shut behind me. The temperature dropped instantly. My breath froze in the air, like tiny ghosts escaping my mouth. The lights flickered violently, as if the house was excited. Floorboards heaved under my feet, rising and falling like breathing lungs. The walls, they felt alive and hungry. The basement demands. Once again, the basement door creaked open, on its own. The stench from below was unbearable. Rot, mold, and something far worse. Old blood. My body trembled as a dark shape crawled into view. Just beyond the first step, a human skull, with strands of hair, still attached. It rolled toward me and stopped at my feet. My aunt's voice cried out, Don't let it inside you! The ritual room. I felt myself descend the stairs, against every desperate thought screaming, No! At the bottom, a massive underground chamber. Candles lined the walls, a pool of black water in the center. Bones stacked like decorations, symbols painted in blood. And there, on the opposite side, my aunt's corpse, hanging from the ceiling, like a marionette. Her head snapped upward, at an impossible angle. Dead eyes locked onto mine. Her mouth stretched, far too wide. Run, Ava! The entity revealed. Her body jerked violently, and something tore out from inside her. A tall, twisted figure, made of shadows and bone. Limbs wrong, joints bending backwards. A face with too many teeth, and no lips to hide them. It crawled upside down, along the ceiling. Each movement cracked its bones loudly, like a sick drumbeat. It whispered, The ritual begins now. The whisper. Suddenly, I heard it. Soft. Right behind me. A whisper. It wasn't a voice I recognized. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not human. Why did you come back? That voice didn't come from a person. It felt like it entered directly into my skull. I spun around with the flashlight. Nothing. But the air behind me felt disturbed, like someone had been standing inches away from me, breathing. A shadow that shouldn't exist. A thump upstairs. Then another. Slow, heavy footsteps. But this sound wasn't like last time. This was closer, more deliberate, as if it knew I was listening. I aimed the light at the staircase, and my stomach dropped. There was a shadow, a tall, deformed silhouette, standing halfway up the stairs. My hand shook violently. I blinked. The shadow moved, gliding silently to the side. It wasn't supposed to be able to move on its own. Shadows don't move without their owners. My aunt appears. A figure stepped into view. Bare feet, torn nightgown, hair hiding her face. My aunt. She lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were bleeding, but filled with desperate love. Ava. Her voice cracked. I tried to protect you, but the house is older than us. Older than death. Tears fell from my eyes. Or maybe blood. Aunt Mary, please help me get out. She shook her head violently, backing away. It's inside you now. You must fight it, or it will wear you forever. The entity speaks through me. My mouth moved, without my permission. Words dripping like poison. She is already ours. I choke on the sound, even though it came from me. My aunt screamed. No, I won't let it take another. She rushed forward, but shadow hands grabbed her, dragging her into the darkness. Her final cry, Ava, remember who you are, echoed. Then silence. I dropped to my knees, sobbing into black nothingness. The dream cracks. Back inside my mind. The hallway begins to crumble. The floor splits open, revealing hands reaching up, grabbing my legs. Drag me. Deep. The entity whispers from behind. Why resist what you were born to become? I scream back. Leave me alone! A sudden flash. Harris's voice cuts through. Ava, remember your aunt's diary! The truth awakens. The diary pages appear in front of me, floating in the air. One line burns brighter than the rest. The house feeds on fear, but it dies from truth. Truth. Memories rush back. My aunt holding my hand when I was a child, telling me I was brave, stronger than darkness. Her voice whispers one last time. Take back your body, Ava. I stand up, pulling my legs from the hands below. I clench my fists. The dream world shakes, and I shout with everything in me. This is my body! A shockwave blasts outward, like light against night. The entity screams behind me. A howl of ancient hatred. I feel my consciousness rip upward, fighting its way back to reality. And someone is calling my name. Ava, come back! Come back! The dream shatters, like a mirror hit by a bullet. Everything goes white. Running for my life. The sound of footsteps storming down the stairs threw my body into motion. I sprinted toward this kitchen, my shaking hands gripping the doorknob. I slammed the door shut and locked it, just as something slammed into the other side. The door shook violently. Bang! 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 I put all my weight against it, but whatever was outside was strong, unbelievably strong. The breathing under the door. Silence settled for a moment. Too short. Then, breathing. Deep, animalistic breathing, right at the bottom crack of the door. I staggered backwards, watching as long, thin fingers slid from underneath, scraping the floor, trying to grab me. I kicked the hand away, and it withdrew with a disturbing crack. The note on the table. I turned to the kitchen table and saw something that wasn't there before. A folded note. Old yellow paper, edges burnt like it had survived a fire. My trembling fingers opened it. Don't enter her room. Mom. My heart froze. My sister's room. The room my mother locked years ago. The room nobody had stepped into since the day she died. The light bulb's message. The kitchen light flickered. Once. Twice. Then stabilized. But the flickering had painted a quick message. In the shadows above. A sentence. On the ceiling. Written in dark smeared letters. Too late. I gasped, stumbling backwards. Too late for what? Too late for me? The footsteps return. The footsteps slowly returned, circling the kitchen like a predator hunting its prey. Tap! 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 I tried to stay silent, but my breaths were loud, shaky, fear-ridden. The handle turned, slowly, testing the lock. Then it stopped. The footsteps moved away, up the stairs again. It wasn't leaving. It was waiting. The voice of my sister. My phone suddenly lit up. Screen still dead, but the speaker turned on. Static. A faint voice through the static. Don't open the door? My sister's voice. Exactly how I remember it. Soft. Sweet. Terrified. I whispered. Can you hear me? No answer. Just a single sob. Then silence. The lure. The locked door behind me stopped rattling. Then a new sound came. A gentle knock. Like a child asking politely to enter. Knock, knock, knock. A soft female voice followed. Fragile. Pleading. It's me. Please open the door. I'm scared. It was her voice. My sister. Begging. Crying. Tears burned down my face as I whispered. You're not real. You're not. But the voice insisted. Why won't you help me? Realization of the trap. The footsteps upstairs again. This time, multiple sets. As if more than one thing was awake now. I realized. It didn't want me to escape the house. It wanted to herd me. To guide me. To her room. The forbidden door. The one Mom told me never to open. The one in the note. Don't enter her room. Which meant the thing that killed my sister was still inside. The horrifying truth. Lightning flashed, and through the kitchen window, I saw my own reflection. Except, my reflection wasn't alone. Standing behind my reflection, a figure. Tall, twisted, with a face stretched into a grotesque smile. It lifted a hand and waved at me through the glass. My reflection didn't wave back. Only the monster did. That's when I understood. The thing in the house wasn't here to kill me. It wanted me alive because it needed me to open that room. And whether I liked it or not, the house was making sure. The horrifying truth. Lightning flashed, and through the kitchen window, I saw my own reflection. Except, my reflection wasn't alone. Standing behind my reflection, a figure. Tall, twisted, with a face stretched into a grotesque smile. It lifted a hand and waved at me through the glass. My reflection didn't wave back. Only the monster did. That's when I understood. The thing in the house wasn't here to kill me. It wanted me alive because it needed me to open that room. And whether I liked it or not, the house was making sure. A silent house is the loudest. The house felt awake, breathing, watching. Every object seemed ready to move the moment I blinked. I stood in the kitchen doorway. The lock now useless. Something had opened it while I wasn't looking. A game, a warning, a command. I knew where I had to go. I hated it, but I knew. Climbing the stairs of fear. Each step up the staircase groaned under my weight. The air grew colder, as if the house itself rejected me. Halfway up, the shadows on the walls stretched far too long, wrapping around the corners like they were alive. My flashlight flickered, but I forced it on, because without it, I wasn't sure I'd survive the next breath. The door that should never open. There it was, my sister's door. Chipped white paint, old stickers still clinging to the wood. A broken nameplate hung loosely. Emma. I touched the doorknob, freezing cold, colder than any metal should be. My hand shook as I twisted it. One click, door unlocked. Not by me, by the house. The room preserved in death. Inside, everything was untouched. Perfect, like the exact moment she died, was sealed away, to rot in silence. Her toys arranged neatly. Her bed made, a diary sitting on her desk, with a black handprint on the cover. I stepped in, and the door slowly closed behind me. The diary's truth. I opened her diary, and instantly regretted it. Something lives in my walls. He says he wants a friend. He says he wants my sister. My stomach twisted. My vision blurred with tears. The last page, written in a shaky hand. He's coming into my room again. If I disappear, don't let him take her too. The ink trailed off in a horrifying curve, as if the pen was ripped from her fingers. The doll that spoke. A doll on the bed sat upright, wearing a cracked porcelain smile. I recognized it. Her favorite. The one she clutched every night. Its head turned toward me. Slow. Grinding. You're late, it whispered, in my sister's voice. I stumbled back, but the room shrank around me, walls closing in. The shadow claims the room. The lights flickered to a dead black. Cold air wrapped around my neck like fingers. A shape appeared. From the closet. From the walls. From everywhere at once. Tall. Bent. Its bones cracking loudly as it straightened. A face stitched into a grotesque smile. From ear to ear. Its voice was a wet growl. Family stays together. Emma's ghost. A soft glow appeared beside me. My sister's ghost. Her eyes filled with terror. Not for herself, but for me. Run, she begged. He doesn't want to kill you. He wants to replace me. I reached for her. My hand passed through cold air. She looked at me, one last pleading time. Please, leave before he makes you stay forever. The choice. The monster reached for me, with arms too long, fingers too sharp, teeth clicking in anticipation. The floor beneath me cracked, a pit opening into darkness. Emma screamed. Go! I had only one chance, one escape, one heartbeat. I ran. I burst through the door, down the stairs, and into the night, the house roaring behind me, like a beast denied its prey. The endless haunting. I never went back, but something came with me. At night, I hear scratching, inside my walls, inside my head. My phone rings with no caller ID, and a child whispers, Don't forget, you're still family. And every time lightning flashes, I see him, standing outside my window, smiling, waiting. I escaped the house, but the house never left me.